Sometimes the hardest achievements and trophies are the ones that feel like the great unknown. So today we're talking about 10 of the hardest trophies that have 0 guides for them. Now, just a disclaimer, but pretty much everything has some kind of guide written for it online, so for this video, we're going with stuff where the game changed to make old guides obsolete, or where the challenge is so great that a guide won't help you anyway, or even where guides are just totally wrong. We'll throw in a few games that are so obscure and hard that nobody even bothered to write a guide for them, but we also don't want everything on this list to be games that nobody played and nobody cared about, so keep that in mind. We got a good mix here, so let's get started off with number 10 and talk about Rambo, the video game. Weapon Specialist. This seems like a simple achievement, just use every weapon available in-game. The problem is that either the requirements for unlocking this trophy are super arcane and weird, or the game is completely bugged and doesn't actually award you the trophy, even though you should be getting it. Just to show how deep this rabbit hole goes with trophies and achievements, this one trophy, that's not even for the main game, but for the free DLC the developers added later, has seen extensive discussion on how to get it on sites like psnprofiles.com. Now, this is Rambo, the video game we're talking about here, one of the most universally reviled and dunked on games from 2014. If people put this much effort into getting trophies in this game, they'll probably do it for literally anything, so shout out to them. If you see anyone with this trophy, they most likely just cheated to get it. Some forum posters found someone they think might be legitimate, but if they know how to actually get this thing, they're not telling anyone. Now, next at number 9, let's talk about Tumbleseed, Save the Mountain. This one is really obscure, probably best known for some articles popping up about the game's poor sales and the fact that the developers probably won't recoup their losses making it. The actual achievement is, well, it's a mystery to us, It's one secret achievement in the game, and as far as we could tell, requires you to complete all the missions in one run, this being a roguelike game. But regarding actual guides, we couldn't find anything. Maybe there's some general discussion somewhere, but guide-wise, we couldn't find anything. We were able to find a guide for a game called Plutobi, which we've never heard of, but this one has nothing. As far as games go, Tumbleseed isn't that bad. It's kind of a fun short burst, but obviously this trophy isn't just really hard to get, making you basically do everything in one run, seemingly, but it is incredibly obscure. Now over at number 8, Fight Night Round 4, get the Online World Championships belt. This one's unguidable for 2 reasons. Number 1, you literally have to go online and beat the player who has the championship belt in a match to obtain the belt for yourself. You do this either through total luck, being really, really good at the game, or just finding and messaging the dude and offering them money or a fight. Seriously, we've seen people suggest that out there. And there's not just one belt, there's 3, heavyweight, middleweight, and lightweight. There's a trophy associated with all 3 belts, so if you want to get a platinum in this game, you're gonna have to get them all. But number 2, the other big problem with getting this is that the servers are shut down. So this entry actually covers 2 impossible achievement things. Trophies that make you get to the top of the leaderboards online, which, do we even need to explain why that's so challenging and often ridiculous? You have to be the best player in the entire game, in the world, just to get a trophy. Good luck. And the other annoying impossible achievement thing is multiplayer trophies that require a server to get. These companies like EA especially are gonna shut down these servers eventually, but they almost never do anything like change the trophies to make it so you can earn them locally or just remove them when they become impossible to get. No, everyone knows servers are going to be shut down eventually. Why can't any of these developers plan for that? That was just the case for this, Normally this one was just nearly impossible before EA went and made it completely impossible. Thanks, guys. Now over at number 7, Devil May Cry 5, Worthy of Legend. Now for this trophy you have to, and I quote, clear all missions with S rank on all difficulties except Heaven or Hell. That's really tough on its own, but there's a problem. The difficulties don't stop at Heaven or Hell. There's a harder one just called Hell and Hell, which makes the enemies Son of Sparta level difficulty while making it so you die in 1 hit. Just 1 hit and you're dead. Checkpoints are disabled. You only get 3 revives, which you can't use if you want to get an S rank. It's totally insane. Just getting S rank on all the missions playing normally is impressive, but being able to do it on the hardest difficulty is just nuts. Now, and sure, it's a popular game. There's a lot of information out there and a few guides for getting through this mode, but they're not gonna help you. You just gotta be good at this game. The guides might as well not exist because the inhuman level of skill required to get this makes it near impossible. impossible. But credit where it's due, there are people who've pulled it off, more people than you might think. But people love Devil May Cry, so they'd be willing to put in the practice to get incredibly good at it. That's the best thing about Devil May Cry fans. However, we gotta say, for most folks, this is a trophy or achievement they'll never see. Now over at number 6, let's talk everybody's golf, Secret Master. Here's one that, again, doesn't sound too bad, but there's something really, really nasty hidden in the fine print. For this trophy, Secret Master, you have to defeat all secret versus characters. This being a golf game, to unlock these secret characters, you have to do golf stuff, like score a bunch of birdies, complete a lot of challenge tournaments, or the most difficult, score a condor, which means you have to get the incredibly rare 4 under par. You'd think that'd be the hardest because it's impossible to even get a condor on most holes in the game, but no, one of the requirements to unlock a secret versus character is this: get 3 condors in an official round. Thankfully, you don't have to get them all in one or anything, but still, to even get a condor, you need just about perfect wind and weather conditions to even make many of them possible, not discounting the fact that this is a golf game we're talking about here. Even with hundreds of hours of practice, sometimes the ball just won't go where you want it to go, no matter what you do. That's golf. And remember, weather conditions aren't something you can just change whenever you want in this game. When you're playing around an official round, you're stuck with whatever weather is in the game, and you have to just play every hole in order. Basically meaning that you have to play the game for up to 30 minutes just to see if you have maybe a chance of getting a condor on a certain hole. If the conditions are wrong, you're pretty much screwed. There's a lot of luck in waiting around for this type of stuff, even dipping into waiting real-time days for getting a shot. But I will say there's plenty of people sharing their tips on how to get a condor on one hole, but if you want to get 3, you're basically out of luck. That's down to you, man. Now down to number 5, Crash Bandicoot 4, Faster Than Sound. For this one, you have to earn all of the platinum time trial relics. The Crash Bandicoot series is infamous for its ridiculously hard to get time trial relics. Of course, in this game and in the remastered collection, getting all the platinum relics gets you a trophy. Those games are pretty well documented at this point, but this one is new, and it's not yet at the time of making this video. How these work is that you've got to play through a level, then when you go back to replay it, a spinning stopwatch appears somewhere at the start of the stage, you hit it, the timer starts. Now you just have to get to the end of the level as fast as possible to earn the platinum relic. Oh yeah, you also have to finish the level without dying once. And Crash Bandicoot 4, that's a lot to ask for, man. This game is not easy. It's not actually the hardest time trial relic to earn. That's the purple developer time relics. Those are insane. But thankfully, you don't have to get any of those to get the trophy. You can find a few tips, and there's a video of people getting these things, but that ain't gonna help you much when you get to some of those brick walls that are in the later stages of Crash 4. Some of these things are a huge struggle to get through just without dying, let alone getting through them as fast as possible. So good luck. There's no guide to read out there that's really gonna help you. Now down to number 4, Lost Planet 2, a collector's collector. Here's a bizarre one that is pretty much impossible because of online leaderboard shenanigans, but not for the reasons you might think. The trophy, a collector's collector, is, pretty vague. Unlock all items, weapons, abilities, but that means completing over 500 tasks alone. You wouldn't think most of those tasks wouldn't be too complicated, but the problem is to unlock everything, you have to complete certain trials, including one where you have to seriously get a world record time on a training mission. That's completely outside the realm of possibility for most people, asking you to be the fastest in the world, not just for a trophy, but for a small part of a trophy. But it gets worse. Here's why. Like with most leaderboards, it seems like, it was hacked to have impossibly high times and scores for the guy at the top, and the developers never bothered to fix or reset it. It was potentially achievable at first. Most of the people who actually have it on PSN are legit. They just got it during the first few hours of the game's release. But once someone decided to hack the leaderboards, it was over. Nobody could get the achievement because they literally made the numbers as high as they could go. So even if you cheated, you wouldn't be able to get number 1 on the leaderboards. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious at this point, these kinds of trophies are really terrible and shouldn't exist, and it's another one where a guide is just not going to help you here. Down to number 3, Nidhogg II, Hog-like. Here's another one where we just couldn't find anything out there that you consider a proper guide. The trophy here is to dominate every level in one single player game, which sounds pretty standard, but it's nearly impossible. Reading a forum thread about this achievement, this guy, Sugar is the Devil, actually asked the designer of the game about this one, with him explaining, for Hog-like, you have to do it in one go without retrying. Unless I messed up. Meaning that you have to play through all 10 stages in arcade mode without dying once and without restarting. The original Nidhogg had a similar achievement where you could cheese it just by dying and restarting the current stage if you got killed, so it wasn't that hard. But here, you have to do it all in one shot, and the AI is pretty pretty difficult, aggressive, and random. If you've played the game, you know. The thread has people discussing possible strategies, with most of them turning out to not work. In the end, someone says they're gonna make a guide, but it was never really made publicly available. So everyone involved probably just gave up eventually, which is a bummer. Now down to number 2, Spelunky 2 Awakened. This one is kind of a cheat because the actual achievement I'm listing here has plenty of guides out there, but what you do once you get the achievement is completely unknown. So Spelunky 2 is a roguelike game, and the trophy we're talking about here is called Awakening, and it requires you to reach the Cosmic Ocean, the deepest, darkest secret in the game to unlock. But here's the thing, that's not actually the end. To get to this place, you have to do all kinds of weird secret stuff, including beating the true final boss of the game, but then the game doesn't end. The Cosmic Ocean is an area that just keeps going if you explore, just generating random levels seemingly forever. People have discovered one thing, that if you get down to level 98, you'll get a special constellation viewable from the telescope, but there's clearly more to it. The original Spelunky had a definitive, true ending, so the fact that this game can potentially just keep going is something that's got its fans really confused. But so far, they found absolutely nothing. Just getting to this area is so difficult that even talking about it is something only very small groups of people can even do right now. So yeah, the actual achievement is well documented, but that doesn't mean the game is finished. The real secret is still out there somewhere, hidden in this cosmic ocean. Now down to number 1, Underworld Ascendant, Underworld Master. There's absolutely nothing out there about getting the trophies and achievements in this game. There's some discussion on the Steam forums about making a guide, and some dude did start with something in the wiki, but they never actually finished it. There are a couple of reasons why this game, which isn't all that obscure, had nothing written about it. It's just that it was just not well received and is not very good or popular. So the platinum achievement called Underworld Master is actually pretty hard to get, making you do some really tedious stuff like do 10,000 damage with swords and deal 10,000 damage with daggers. There's a lot of, do 10,000 damage achievements for some reason. These are pretty lame, but they're probably ways to make completing them easier, but nobody really cares. The game is well known for coming out in a state not even close to being finished. Even the actual eventual console releases didn't get much better, with many of the patches actually breaking things and making the game worse rather than fixing anything. Seriously, just look at some of the gameplay footage. Now, this is the patched version, and it's still got a lot of fundamental problems. It's a shame because an open-ended dungeon crawler is a pretty cool idea for a game. It's just a shame that they couldn't seem to get it together for this one. And all in all, the game was and is still a mess. Underworld Ascendant doesn't have any guides because it's so bad that nobody really wants to play it, let alone write a guide. But those are 10 game achievements that have 0 guides for them for whatever specific weird reason. We tried something different with this video, so we'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments, especially if you have any other examples of trophies that you tried to get and you Googled them online and you just couldn't find any help. Let us know anything about this very specific topic down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing because we put out videos like this every single day. But hey, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.